Hey Sean, how you doing? Perfect time to start the show. I counted
My
down on
God! You
everything.
literally,
You timed
you
that
it's just
so
like,
bad.
well, I thought you were gonna go, hey, welcome to the coaching segment. I'm
Okay.
Coach Purge. This is
Okay.
Dan Idler's Dota. The sponsors are Gamer Sensei, and I'm sponsored by Dota Buff, and they're
Okay.
great. Sean, how are you doing? But it was just like, hey,
Your
we're live.
turn.
Sean, how are you? Oh my God, me? Yeah, dude, I'm doing pretty. I guess I feel fine. I feel
Mhm.
fine. Like I think that um, in terms of learning, I think it's really nice in a game to feel something
Yeah.
versus to have something explained. It's like when you say, "Oh yes, if you get a cloak, you have better magic resistance." And then there was a PA game where I bought the cloak and had like 5 nukes on me, and I lived with a sliver of health, and I
Yeah.
just went, "Thank God for this cloak." You know, it's like that visceral feeling.
Mhm.
Going straight for the radiance, which is something I've never done before, I just felt the difference. It didn't help me win the game, but it was a really useful lesson. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And
It went
well,
well first game though. Like, what can you explain the difference that you felt game one to game two to game three?
let me look at game one for a moment and
Game one,
just
you went
refresh.
Armlet Blink, and then you got Radiance afterwards. And there were a lot of there was a Bloodseeker and a
Oh yeah,
Legion and
that
an
was the
Axe
sniper game.
in the sniper. Yeah.
Killing me. I think the biggest difference in feeling was that I felt a lot more control. I just felt a lot more ability to do the stuff that I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Like um, when I would go to the jungle and begin to farm, I turned the armlet on and I was doing it quickly and I could clear 2 camps and like come back to a lane, clear that, go over here. And I was trying to plan out a lot of the circuits, like what we talked about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Um, and I just felt good about that. I enjoyed that sense. And the Radiance brought a new dimension. And that was the first game where I actually felt like I was looking at and considering the Radiance as an item.
Yeah.
But when we switched on over to
The rush. The good old
yeah,
rush.
the rush game, I felt the exact opposite. It felt so hard to kill um, anything.
Anything.
It
Yeah.
felt hard to kill any camps. It felt like scary to be in lane all alone fighting those dangerous creeps.
Yeah.
It all just felt scary, dude.
Okay. I think we can do some clip review of game one. I think game two is going to take in-game viewing, so I'll pull up the replay and we'll look at the replay for two. And then
Love it.
three kind of just felt normal. So I'll try to identify why you felt those differences because I feel like I have
Yeah.
some of that figured out. It's a mix of stuff. It's not just necessarily game balance, it's also play style, how you played around the items, how you reacted to your team. And like I said earlier, a lot of that nuance is adjusting your playstyle and how you react to the game with your updated item build, and that's still difficult for new players to do. So, okay,
Although I
let's.
was very proud that what I did in the middle of the third game is I was going for the Radiance,
Uh
but
huh.
so were 2 other people on the team.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
just clicked around on their items and went, you know what? It would probably be better for me to just be a mobile initiator.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely the good move. I was actually happy you did that. At first, I was like, I wanted him to get Radiance, but then I was like, okay, this is learning the lesson really that Radiance is very situational, and I definitely say that'd be the case for Wraith King. I would say maybe you should build it tops
Yeah.
20% of the time, maybe.
Like if I am shitting on my lane
Yeah,
and
you're really ahead.
for other reasons that I am a newbie and will not be able to identify, if I feel that it is a good Radiance game in general
Yeah,
because of what heroes they are.
yeah,
If those two are true, then yeah.
yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at clip. Sorry, at the start of the game here. So
Chance you can turn your video off and on again because for some reason it looks just really small to me.
Um, yes. That was weird. I could see kind of what you meant. Is it looking
Awesome.
fine now?
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
fantastic.
I know what it was. It was because I downsized the resolution on XSplit, so it messed it up on Skype without restarting it. Okay,
Awesome.
so couple. I'll just point out a couple of mistakes you made in the first game mechanically. I just noticed this one right before we went live, and I thought it was really interesting. So the way you reacted to this getting ruptured thing was kind of cool. But you first of all you ran a lot. I think running to about here is okay because at least then the
Yeah.
creeps wouldn't attack you until this range creep was dead. But you definitely overran a little bit too much. And
Hmm.
once you got into melee range, you should instantly start hitting the Bloodseeker
Yeah.
because you could be lifestealing, doing damage to him. But what's actually super
Yeah.
interesting is hypothetically, if you would have just ran for this range creep and killed it, you could have hit level 6 and gotten your ulti and respawn. That
Wow.
would have been fun. It probably wasn't worth it because I think there's a high chance you die afterwards anyways, but because the axe was swinging
Yeah.
in and there was a lot of creeps, but kind of a fun thing. Yeah, just small mistakes there, and you also should have turned to stun him, if possible,
Yeah.
as you escape. But it's kind of a small thing, honestly. This was
One
a
thing that I just want to note
yeah,
about
go ahead.
that's just one of those interesting to me. Okay, so I think that funnily enough for me, the hardest lesson to learn ever was power tread switching with Spirit Breaker specifically, because it's just so hard for me to unautomate the hand motions.
Yeah,
And another one of those is the turning to right click on
creeps.
anyone who's nearby me when they walk up to me.
Gotcha.
My brain just doesn't do that. Like I don't think we've talked about it explicitly, but you can see it in literally every single game that I play. I'm so used to StarCraft where it's just like it's near me, so I will attack now.
Yeah.
So I am positioning my mouse away from that location, getting ready to run as I expect my guy to attack. It's just sort of funny to
Yeah.
have that example right there. Where I just again, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, you definitely waste a lot of time turning. I saw one time where you blinked. Remember when the Kunkka's Lincolns got broken? High ground by the Crystal Maiden? You
Hmm.
blinked up, you did like a full 270-degree turn, and then stunned him. That was pretty funny.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
you waste that stuff a lot. This is a pretty big chasing mistake that you made. So if you remember the lesson that we did about the all the juking paths and stuff, the important thing is to stay close.
Yeah.
And at this moment, because he stopped, you actually attacked him here. But instead, what you should have been doing is just running, because your stun was almost off cooldown. So if you'd have just kept
Oh,
running with him,
interesting. Okay, I see.
because that extra attack wasn't going to kill him unless it was a crit. You didn't get a crit, it's 15%, very low. But if you had just gotten a little closer, this was almost off cooldown, but by the time you try to cast it, he gets fogged. Whereas if you had been running with him, you could run to high ground with him, then stun him. Because if this guy's shrine was up, you don't kill him anymore. But it just happened to not be up. So you
Yeah.
got lucky and you kind of got the kill. But that was a big mistake. Another mistake you made is that when Centaur uses his ultimate, if you walk into somebody, you become phased basically. If you walk into somebody, they take a nuke. So you should have hit him once and at least walked through him instead of attacking twice.
Oh, I
'Cause
had
he
no
could have
idea.
died
It
a
did
little
that.
faster. Just
Okay,
small
cool.
little nuance. But the big thing was the chasing, certainly, just because it prevented you from... Basically, think of how closer he was
That's
to allies.
brilliant.
He
Yeah.
could have died here for sure, and instead he died all the way down here on the map, just a huge distance.
Yeah.
They could have TP'd here the whole time. There's a lot of factors that would have made that harder. Little fight here that I thought was kind of interesting. Your armlet was on a little late, but not that big of a deal. As a whole, I feel like your target acquisition was okay. I think this is a waste of your stun. You should have hit this
Yeah,
instead,
definitely.
just so it was off cooldown a little faster. And there's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of... Go ahead.
I also recall you said that I was acquiring the tanky targets way too often, especially in the late game
Yes.
fights. But that axe particular one,
That one was fine.
that one felt okay to me. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he was the first one up. You're saving your Tinker, so it's completely fine for you to disable this guy. For you to even get to the Venge, who's Squisher, you'd have to walk past the Axe. He might call you, you know? So this is completely reasonable in your initiation, but the criticism that I have is when you have Blink Dagger, you should be able to choose, basically. But you never really get that opportunity. Partially it's a vision problem, partially it's a starting the team fight problem, but... And you're also not looking at enemy heroes enough, in my opinion. You're kind of always... Once you get a kill or you disengage, you reset to your hero and you sit around for a bit. But I think you need to look at your opponents a bit more. Right here, you had Blink Dagger. And I maybe would have considered going in here. At least look to see how much HP they have, for example.
Yeah.
Also, the sniper keeps casting his ulti on you. So you could realize that he has a ward here. Make sure you don't get silenced. Every time that... Did you understand what I meant about the sniper thing? Look right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, it means he can see you.
Yeah.
Don't get silenced by the Bloodseeker. It's pretty important. After you cast your stun, it doesn't matter really, but it does lower your HP, which increases his movement speed and damage. And then obviously your HP is just lower. And it's fine that you hit him.
Why does it decrease my HP?
Because it does damage to you. This is a new function.
Oh! I thought you meant when there is a silenced Wraith King, the silence reduces the HP.
No.
But you just mean
Just that silence does a nuke as well.
Yeah, this was just poor micro because I was trying to avoid it and walk up. I was trying to time it properly.
Gotcha.
Instead, I just waltzed right into there.
Yeah, that makes sense. But other than that, this was really good. I like that you blinked forward, turned on your armlet a little bit wrong, but as a whole, that was really good. Couple other engagements. So at this point, you have Radiance, which is cool. This is actually a really bad Radiance game as well. Do you know any ideas why?
Let me see. Why would it be a bad Radiance game?
Semi-bad.
I mean-
there's positives and negatives, but I would say it's a little bit negative.
I only know really basic reasons why a Radiance would be bad. the Morphling can get an illusion that now has
Yeah.
radiance, and that's bad. But I mean,
I would say the most straightforward one is that you've got 3 heroes that are commonly going to buy Blade Mail, especially at least two, Axe and Legion. So if you
yeah,
just are in the fight with your Radiance burning away and they just turn on Blade Mail, they're doing 60 damage a second to you for up to, what, 3.5 seconds or something? And you just
yeah.
can't stop that damage. And the only way to stop it from reflecting to you is for you to pop a BKB or for you to buy a magic resistance item, which you don't really want to do because it wasn't a good BKB game. You actually
Or I
identified that
could
really
like
well.
turn off the
Yeah, that could work actually.
radiance. Is
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can do that. That's a great solution against Morphling actually. Walk up to him and he's gonna be like, "Oh, free radiance." Turn off your radiance. He makes an illusion of you, and it's just an illusion with a radiance that's turned off. There's like little tricks like that that you can do definitely that are good.
And what was the thing that you just said about BKB? Because I was thinking about the
So,
radiant
so
stuff
when
still.
when Blade Mail reflects, it counts as magic damage. It's like the same as the Radiance reflect. It's stopped by spell immunity.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you pop BKB and they turn on their Blade Mails, they're reflecting Radiance burn back to you, which is ignored by which spell immunity ignores. So you'd
yeah.
either have to get magic resistance or become spell immune so that the Radiance Blade Mail reflect wouldn't affect you because it's magic damage back to you, which is arguably a pretty good counter. So plus they're just really tanky, and Radiance is an AoE item, and AoEs are better against heroes that don't have as high of max HP. So,
Yeah.
so if they're lower max HP and you buy a Radiance really fast, Radiance is godly because it kills people in like 10 to 15 seconds just standing there. But against heroes that have like 2k, 3k HP, it's really iffy. You had a huge target acquisition problem here. Go for the Axe, or probably just run maybe. You
Yeah.
probably should have ditched the CM. Actually, if you did ditch her, I think you would have lived.
Oh, did I die here? Oh yeah, I died.
You definitely did. So there's like little fights like that that were pretty rough. The
Yeah,
Roach fight was
I
similar.
did not realize I could have escaped that. Like I just thought that was a guaranteed death. I didn't realize.
You maybe would have still died if depending if the shrapnel hit you or not, but this was okay. I thought you played this fairly alright.
I accidentally turned my armlet off and just instantly died.
You should have blinked here. You had it for quite a while. You could have gotten outside the Blood Right silence. Or you could have jumped left on the sniper, for example, would have been really good. This is a perfect example of you going on the tanky guys, but not the guy that actually does good damage and disable. Obviously he does have silence here, but I think you might have been able to respawn there as well. And now you're just kind of screwed. Like, just some of your... And also, I feel like buying a Radiance this late is just so mediocre. I feel like you either get the item really fast with a good game, or you fit it in earlier than your third item. Maybe it's just the game type. I mean, it is nice that they're all right clickers and you give them evasion, but it just didn't really feel much like the item. And then talk about the skill tree as well. I know that you knew
Yeah.
that the reincarnation was the wrong choice, that you should have gone Vampire. That was a huge mistake. But how do you feel about the other 3 sets?
I felt like I was happy with 15 damage. The Wraithfire Blast movement speed. I'm still content with my Wraithfire Blast DPS. I think the biggest problem we had in this game was with Sniper, and I have more questions about that. But I mean, it just seemed fine as a solid damage thing. The other two, I would definitely wanted the left side. I definitely wanted strength over attack speed.
Why did you want strength this game?
Because it's an extra math, 800 health. So,
It's not 800. It's 400.
but then I
10
resurrect.
strength is
So,
200. Oh, okay. All right. Yep,
so,
you're right.
so I was
Yeah.
like an extra 800 health. It deals extra damage, and I was getting attack speedy stuff anyways. So,
Okay, I would agree with that. I personally am kind of a big fan of the 15 movement speed. When I played Wraith King the other day, I got this because I was like, yeah, it's 100 damage. It's pretty good. But then you get to a point where you're like, I'm having some kiting issues. Like, if you have Radiance, for example, your goal is to stay alive and to stand near people, and not having movement speed is going to make that worse. Not that I like the 15 movement speed much. It's really not a lot. But if
Yeah.
you're complaining about sniper problems, movement speed is one way to help solve that. It's not a great way, but it's an option.
yeah, I mean, like in general, I just go, at 15 movement speed, and the Wraithfire DPS feels like extra damage, so I mean, that's really my opinion about the entire
Okay.
tier
I
all
would look at
around.
that one. I mean, it's not a great talent point. I kind of feel like it should be like a level 10 or something personally, but I would say that if you are going to have any trouble being kited at all, you should almost certainly get the 15 movement speed, I feel like that's
Okay.
better because it's so late. It's level 15 for God's sake, and you're getting 100 more magic damage every 8 seconds. It's like, it's okay, but it's not amazing by any means. And
It's like half an auto attack every 8 seconds worth of
yeah, it's
damage.
like a third of an auto attack right now. It's not much. It's really not much. And most fights you only cast Wraithfire Blast like 2 times. So I don't know.
Woo!
Whereas 15 movement
Woo!
speed could be you dodging a spell or you getting an extra right click off when your attack moving or something like that. I feel like that's just superior. Okay.
And then I definitely think that the 20% lifesteal was great. I
Yeah.
I did deliberately click on the no mana cost one, and then later was full of regret.
Yeah.
The I think the third one I misclicked. One of the games I misclicked it.
You know, you did it in a crucial moment. It was like there was a fight happening or a gank, so you just opened it and clicked it. And I've done that as well. You do this like panic, like I need the extra benefit to make this gank work, and then you're like, I shouldn't have pressed that one.
That was definitely with the level 25 talent. I definitely
Okay.
did that in the middle of that fight, and then regretted after the fight was done. But one of these games, maybe it was last week. I don't know. I'm starting to get blurred together, but more and more and more, I want to get the 20 strength one because it's just so much extra health.
Yeah, I think the last game it was okay to go to attack speed, but I think you should have gone health because you had a radiance. Health
Yeah.
makes that better. The game that you got Mjolnir, I was really happy you went strength. I think if you got an earlier basher, I'd definitely get attack speed to make that item better, which is just talent trees obviously can influence how your items go. Rather than watch the clips for the game too, I would rather just watch in game because
Okay.
I definitely agree that your radiance was slow, but I definitely want to look at how the laning stage went and get some info as a result of that. Why is my scroll speed so high? I don't know. Whatever.
And if you could do me a favor and shrink the Skype window of us to remove this black line.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's one way. Okay. So, basically, Treads Quelling. This was one of the two builds I said that you should do. I said either Treads Armlet Radiance or Treads Radiance. The Treads Radiance one is definitely greedier, but if you get it fast enough, it can really pay off because your farm speed will be increased. And your first fight, as soon as you get Radiance, should be really strong. Now, the reason that Armlet feels so good for you, in my opinion, is because number one, you're slowly buying items, so you're always getting as strong as possible. You're always
Yeah.
matching your gold power curve, basically.
Feels good.
Whereas if you go for Radiance, you have this like huge range where you're just not much stronger and your team's not much stronger. Also, if you buy Radiance or Armlet, you can just hit up the jungle and you farm it insanely fast. And honestly, most of the Wraith King games you play, your lane goes disappointing, I would say. Like, pretty much you always lose your lane at least a little bit, with some rare exceptions. And
Sounds
Armlet
right.
just gets you into the jungle and you outfarm anybody, because nobody at your MMR is as good at farming as you are with Armlet. Because they just aren't good at farming, period. If you buy Armlet, you just hit up the jungle, you get items, and eventually you're top net worth. You were pretty close to top net worth this whole game, honestly, but the issue is that your Radiance came a little bit late, and it was like the worst Radiance game ever. So, if we talk about the Undying, you guys have a tri-lane, you have 3 heroes with nukes and disables. This guy should die like 8 times in his lane. And he shouldn't even really get levels ever. I think you should have approached a little bit earlier here, but... Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
and then you like juked in the trees for like 25 minutes. This was this was not good. You should have probably just chased a little. I think we saw the
Yeah.
animation. I don't know. He got too much time out of this, in my opinion. Did you guys ever get a kill? The heck?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, that's fine. You're farming. This is actually so value for him because despite him giving first blood, now he's guaranteed all of this experience. And that caught 2 supports busy, so that means they're not pulling to prevent this. So he's going to get like 3 full waves of experience. That was like the most value death I've seen in a long time. So
I
we'll
could
see.
not believe how long he stayed alive. I had no idea about that left juke path.
So let's see how much experience he actually gets from this. He was at about like a quarter of level 1. He's like level 3 basically. So he got 2
Wow.
levels out of that first blood. And the supports did nothing during the meantime. So this guy just barely hits 2 here from starting a small pull and getting probably a bounty rune in a sec. But like that was super worth it for this guy. And it wasn't you that got the kill, so you don't even get a fast boots or anything like that.
Yeah, it sucked.
And I know you last did a little poorly this game as well. Yeah, you're definitely very low where you should be, but...
Yeah, I missed like a wave doing the little chase around Aru up on what the hell's his name? On Undying.
Yeah.
And then I just whiffed a couple last hits as well.
Yeah.
Actually, quite a few in this game.
I think the Venge should have stayed in the lane longer. I don't don't know what, she went mid or something. The important thing for supports is to secure the lane, and if she just would have stayed in the lane with 3 of you guys, you can keep killing Undyne. But if it's just 2, it's difficult, and even Jakiro's not very good at zoning, so you guys got kind of gimped by that. And I'd also argue maybe that you needed to go, I don't know, maybe more damage. This is kind of hard, but obviously you get a Vampiric Aura early, but you can help try to zone him if he gets a little out of hand. I feel like you pretty much just focused on creeps. So he basically kind of got all the experience that he ever wanted in the game. You guys didn't really kill him after that first blood, I think, and then the little fights you did try to work on him, it just didn't work out. So I remember at the end of the game, one of your allies was like, no, we definitely won top. I completely disagreed with that. The Undyne got way too much, and you didn't get any kills, which didn't accelerate you.
Yeah, everything felt slow in this lane. Ouch! My God.
Is that the cat? Okay.
Yeah, no, I had my hand like leaning back behind my chair, and she's like, "Ooh," and she's attacking me. Hi, Destiny. We're gonna get her to meow later. It's gonna be awesome.
Did it ever work when you hung up on Skype? Did you get another one out of her? Or?
No, she went and played string for a while, so she's a little tuckered out now.
Gotcha.
There were like a billion creeps there that were at like 5 health,
and
I thought it was going to be for me. So
it's very good that he took it either way. I think it's okay that he finished that up, because either way they're pulling a lot. At this point, you guys are winning the lane, I would say, because this guy's 5, you're 5, this guy's 4, this guy's 3. That's a lot of experience. So you guys did pretty well at this point. I kind of wish he didn't get Ice Path. I think I would have preferred an extra point of Dual Breath personally, but just because you guys needed more damage. Yeah, like this is a great time to kill him, but this guy focused on pulling instead. This should just be kills, repeated kills. But now he's 5, so he just like keeps healing from you guys, and he won a pretty smart skill build considering there's 3. It was just a laning issue pretty much. Okay. And your last hits were pretty low, I would say. Maybe not like stupidly low, but definitely lower than your average. Alright, so I think what we should do is just jump forward a little bit here. Let's go to like the 10 to 15 minute mark when you're kind of just in the grind to farm the Radiance.
Yeah.
The laning stuff is good. Part of the issue is that these guys shouldn't even be here anymore. So they should be out around the map getting stuff done. And basically everybody else in your game kind of got wrecked. Your Outworld Devourer lost his lane, and I think your Axe kind of did too. Pretty sure.
Yeah, we actually lost to the same guy twice. The guy who was Night Stalker in this game was the sniper in the other game.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, he played pretty well, I felt. The other problem is that you literally never bought a wand or a TP. I think that hurt you a lot, because there were definitely some times that you were low on mana, and you didn't need to be. Like,
wow, I actually am surprised I forgot to get the wand.
Yeah, normally you did it both Radiance Rush games, which is 2 and 3.
Wow. Huh.
Just get the stick or the wand. It's up to you, but it's super value early, basically. Yeah. The TP scroll is a huge thing, though, because basically your team was losing the laning stage, and then what happened is you basically were just sitting around with treads, farming slowly. And that's part of the reason that you felt like you weren't doing anything, because shit was happening all around the map, and you were never there for it. If you've got 4 points in Wraith Fire Blast, what you should be doing is getting inactive, and it's okay to do this if you know that it's going to get a kill. Like, right now, where this guy gets dived, if you just TP'd right here, this guy would have to back up, and your OD would stay alive. But instead, he gets to keep diving here. Like, almost for sure you could have gotten a stun, probably right there, and then the Venge would have stunned. Maybe you kill him.
Yeah. You know? This is something I need to incorporate in every single game where I'm a carry. I have a... And maybe this is too broad of a question. When I'm a carry, I have a horrible time knowing when I should go in or not.
Do you mean go somewhere else to participate, or...
Yeah. When should I be looking to participate with the team in fights versus just chilling and farming? I mean, it almost sounds like, hey, if there's a defensive opportunity to warp in and maybe get a kill somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just defensive kills, basically. Like, there's a bunch of shit happening over here. You could have TP'd for this one, too. They eventually did kill the Ursa, but I mean, look at this fight. It's so close. Pretty much everybody, except for you, goes for this. And considering how close you are to Radiance and Relic, like, you just have to know that you're going to be able to at least cast a stun, basically, is what you should be thinking about.
Yeah.
Can you use your ability without them running out of range in time? And the easiest way to set this up, you have a banish for 4 seconds. If this guy casts Astral on any hero, you got a TP. Like, you're guaranteed going to get there in time, assuming nobody else has TP'd, like, 2 people before you.
Oh, never even thought about that.
Or maybe if Jakiro has a couple points in Dual Breath, or maybe if Venge has Swap and can swap them back to the tower. Like, you should be at this fight, and you should help your team win it, because you've got an 8-second cooldown, 2-second stun. which is just incredible amounts of utility. And even if you don't have a lot of items, you still have treads, and the purpose of you going treads into Radiance is that treads makes your mana go super far. So despite not having items, you can contribute skill points to the fight. But you never did that. You just sat in the lane and continued to farm slowly. And the times you didn't feel safe in lane, you just went to the jungle instead. So your team is basically fighting an uphill battle because of how the lane circumstances went, and it keeps just getting a little worse and worse and worse. And eventually you did rotate over, but then this is a good example of a bad time to rotate. Like, you moved over because you're like, hey, I'm kind of close, they're fighting.
I'm vaguely adjacent to it.
But this guy can see you the whole time. Like, he knows exactly where you are, because he can see really far in nighttime. Like, look at his vision. They even have a ward over there. He knows exactly where you're standing. He can get out.
Night Stalker is insane! Oh my gosh, Night Stalker just has so damn much vision. It's amazing.
And so trying to fight him at nighttime is pretty unrealistic. So in a moment like that, TPing would have been good earlier at the shrine, but now walking over, unless, like, as soon as you realize he starts juking you, you just leave. You're like, all right, this isn't going to work. Time to go farm. Because the longer you delayed your Radiance, the worse it got for you. So here's your net worth. You're towards the top, but your team's sucking, basically. Pretty much everybody, sort of. The supports did okay, but their rotations maybe could have been a little bit stronger, I would say. Something like that. And now it's just almost impossible to kill the Undying, because he's got decent items, he's got tons of skill points, and he's always sitting by his tower, pretty much. So, honestly, a lot of your issue this game was pretty much just not having a teleport scroll and maybe not having a magic stick. And your supports probably needed to be a little bit more coordinated around the map. But honestly, just a few TPs from you early would have been good. So one of the other build alterations you could do, you could go Treads Blink, and then go Radiance. Because then it's like this build, except it's more reliably active, and you know that you could, like, TP to a lane and gank somebody no matter what. That would be another alteration. This is the most greedy one, other than going like Brown Boots Radiance, which you should never do. At the least, go to like Treads Magic Stick Radiance. But you could go Blink, you could go Armlet, because the Armlet covers your jungling, your armor issues. It's like all of those different nuances would have been better, and the fact that you were just a little inefficient with your farming really hurt you this game. You have the most CS still this game by far. But by the time the Radiance came out,
my understanding of where I was at in this game was completely off. It reminds me of that. Well, I think the second game I ever played on stream where I was lying, and I thought everything was going horrifically. And you were like, no, you did okay. It was actually pretty fine. And like this game, I thought that I was way off. Like, I was just getting dumpstered. And
it's because you got used to the powerfulness of Radiance, or of Armlet.
Yeah. Like, I felt like I was farming really slow, and I felt really confused about whether I should be fighting or not. And then I die every now and again, and that's bad, and boo, etc. And
your target acquisition late game fights is pretty weak. Like, heroes like Morphling are just so difficult to kill, because he can just turn his agility into strength to heal up. I think if I were you there, I would have kept moving. As soon as the chop misses, you're not going to get that kill. It's a really nice call by him, but I probably would have started. Yeah. You definitely got a little flustered there.
I could not believe that didn't go off.
Actually, I couldn't believe that the axe blinked down. That was weird. Oh, and he waveformed. Alright, let's see where he is. Oh, he replicated. He used the replicate finally.
Oh, that's what was going on. Okay.
And unfortunately, because you chased him for so long, that could have been like your Radiance being finished. And eventually you used your stun on... No, I'm thinking the Bloodseeker game, I think. You used your stun on a guy, and then you had no mana. But you would have if you had, like, any other skill. This, I think, could have been a kill, maybe. Should have gotten the last hit.
That was a very good mirror image. Yeah, like, dude, this guy just so record-owned me.
Across the board, they just had like way more farm than you. So yeah, and that's game 2. We got not too many game 3 clips, because I think it was just straightforward you doing your wraithing things. But
I was happier with how the laning phase went. I don't know what your thoughts are. I thought it was a tricky lane and that I held down okay.
Yeah. I would say that you did generally. You made some small mistakes, things like fighting when you probably shouldn't have, or it felt like a typical low MMR laning stage where like you're in the lane kind of, and you don't really know if you can kill them, and you kind of just like clash randomly. If it's
Yes.
coordinated, if Skywrath Mage just like shows up and CM comes out of the jungle slightly deceptively and just gets behind a guy and you kill him repeatedly, if that just happens like 3 times in the lane, the game ends basically because you get so far ahead. So it went okay, but there were definitely some times that you died that you didn't need to, I would
Yeah.
say. Generally, I think your biggest issue, other than maybe the laning stage right now, is your target acquisition in fights can be really weak.
I think only near the very end of the third game, after you had said you needed to right-click squish your targets, did I begin to right-click squish your targets.
I see. Yeah, I remember when you killed Kunk at one point that you felt like that. This one, for example, this guy's silenced, and he takes more damage from magic. You had your stun off cooldown here, but you turned. That was definitely a kill, I feel like. And do you see how like aimless you look right now?
Oh yeah, no, this was mega aimlessness at this moment. I was like, ah.
And every second that you're not doing something is in some ways equivalent to you being stunned. So it's very important. You definitely could have killed this guy as well. You had blink up as well as stun. So you could have gotten that guy killed.
GG.
Yeah. And alright, and then I just wanted to talk about the items as well. Because there was a lot of confusing items in this game, and I want you to talk me through these. I think these are good, bad. Let's go start from the top.
Okay. Crystal Maiden, I don't really know her itemization super well, but I think Glimmer Cape has higher value than a lot of that stuff. I guess Blink is okay, like Blink
Yeah.
Stun, but it doesn't seem as like super hugely impactful as like some of the other
I would say her build's alright.
stunners.
You can definitely go Midas sometimes because the
Yeah.
levels are really important on the hero, but it's definitely greedy. But now that once she gets a Blink Dagger, I'm pretty happy with it. If there aren't really good gank heroes, if there's like Slark on the enemy team, I'd be like, just don't get Midas, it's not worth it because he'll kill you a
Yeah.
couple times. But I think against the enemy heroes, it was alright. So I would say that build's okay. Sky's build, have you ever played Sky before?
Yeah, yeah. This seemed weird because I didn't feel like the Ghost Scepter was as justified because there's
For
like a lot of magic damage on the other
Yeah, I
team.
would agree.
And honestly, I for me, I'm like, okay, Skywrath Mage, how do we get this Rod of Atos? That's like the only question in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, like this Veil, okay. I guess it deals more magic damage, but I mean, looking at the team, we don't even really have that much magic damage, I don't feel like, other than the fact that three of us were going
Yeah.
Radiances.
Yeah. CM's all magic, Sky's all magic. You have what? Your stun is magic, your Milner's magic. That's about it. And Radiance for Abaddon, his shield and his nuke. So I would say
Yeah,
it's okay. It also gives him armor, which he kind of needed. I would say
yeah,
it's okay. I just don't like the Ghost Scepter. I think I'm in agreement with you. I think your items are really solid. Maybe you could use a magic wand. I think you should be more willing to sell your Quelling Blade at this kind of stage of the game. I feel like a wand would be superior. Or maybe if you don't need
yeah.
wand, then it's
Oh,
fine. I
man.
guess. I guess if you skip wand, it's not a huge deal. But talk to me about Abaddon's build though. Did you
Dude,
see
I
his
don't know.
progression?
His progression was brown boots for Radiance.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, don't forget the
Uh,
stout shield, man. And you got a Quelling in there, I think.
yeah, this one seemed. I almost want to say it seemed like recreational Dota, but I know Abaddon is still pretty good with the Radiance because his ultimate triggers and he can just march around. So that seems okay. I don't know enough about Abaddon to know if Brown Boots Radiance is that good, but I feel like he should at least get some other type of boot.
I agree. The boot upgrades are really efficient, like I said earlier today.
Yeah,
Why not buy a phase or a treads or something else that just makes you more efficient, or maybe buy a magic
yeah,
wand or literally anything else that would make his hero
yeah.
better in the temporary. And then heart afterwards. Do you feel like there was a better item that would give him a
I mean,
mixture of what he might need?
BKB just straight up. I would say.
I wouldn't do that because it's only limited for 10 seconds, and outside of that, it kind of sucks. Like BKB only gives you 200 HP. Heart gives you 1,100 or something like that. I would say Heart's better than BKB
Oh, really?
for what he needed. I would have probably gone like maybe Treads S and Y or something might have been better just to up his movement speed, his armor,
Yeah.
his damage, his utility, like all of that might have been superior. Or maybe gotten like a hood would have been really good. Treads hood or something for magic resistance would have
Yeah.
been kind of cool. So, Spectre's build. You ever played Spectre?
Um, this just looked like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like
Yeah,
Spectre's like a hard carry, and
yeah.
just like I feel like there needs to be just a shitload of damage items, and it's just like this.
She actually does build heavy HP. The only thing that's really missing is a Radiance. If she had a Radiance and then built a Heart, it would have been completely standard. But just skipping the Radiance and going Heart
Oh,
was
really?
bad. Because her third skill blocks damage that she takes and reflects it as damage. So it's kind of like she has a built-in Blade Mill, so buying HP is pretty solid, and she has a built-in passive that does pure damage with her ult and her auto attack. So it's like almost good, but should have been more damage focused. But I feel, why do you feel like you guys won this game so hard? I think that's the real question of the match.
Before we answer that, I'm gonna just shut this window over here because it's loud outside.
Okay,
Stay there, Kevin.
the veil of secrecy has been broken.
All right. Okay, why did we win this game so badly? Um, Part of me was sincerely surprised that we won the game
Yeah, me
because
too.
it just seemed clowny.
And
Um,
think about how much gold you guys had saving for 3 Radiances. Like, imagine the gold advantage they had during that time period,
yeah,
and just nothing
yeah,
happened.
yeah. The this entire game was odd to me. I suppose it is that they just didn't have enough damage on their team. I'm like looking through
Nah.
their items.
Well, yeah,
Did,
their items are awful, but they certainly had damage when they had a gold advantage, and you guys were saving for relics and things. Like the Kunkka played his hero amazing, but I don't think he has any idea what to buy. This guy has no idea what items to buy. Like what is that all that stuff? I don't think I've
the
ever seen that collection of items on any hero in Dota ever. Lincoln's, Crystallis, Blade of Alacrity, Bracer, Robe of the Magi. I'm pretty sure he's building a Diffusal and happens to have a Bracer, but it just looks so bad. So, and that's basically the
Can you
issue.
explain that? Because I mean, like, truly, I don't quite understand why we won the game. I mean, like, the Lincolns especially feel weird to me with the like zero cooldown on Skywrath.
Yeah, it's definitely bad against that. It prevents him from getting silenced or something, or maybe prevents you from stunning them instantly. There's almost no
Yeah,
reason to buy Lincolns here. They basically, first of all, Troll farmed really slow. He went standard items. His items look like a pro's items more or less, except for the lifesteal, I would say. But he farmed so slowly, probably because of user error. He just bad farming patterns, didn't go Quelling Blade, things like that. Maybe bad team fights. That guy should have wrecked this game. But basically the reason they lost, in my opinion, was because they got super inactive. They didn't do anything for a very long time on the map. They needed to continuously pressure your towers and move around the map, ganking your heroes. Like the amount of times they could have just killed Abaddon repeatedly when he only had brown boots. Like they could have killed him so many times. He had like 4 armor and 800 HP, and at most he had his ulti, basically. So they just didn't do anything, and you guys just farmed better than them, is pretty much what
hmm.
happened. And then you guys spent your money on items that actually do something. Whereas they sunk in 5k to a Lincoln's on Kunkka, 5k to a Lincoln's on Puck. Instead, that could have been like a Dagon 3 for each of them, and then they could have just killed you or something. I feel like that would have been way better. So this was kind of like a farming issue, and your team bought more efficient items, I feel. And they just didn't push their timing window. It was another big thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can understand what you're saying from a you say it and I go, oh, I can see that now, but I guarantee there was zero chance I would have come up with that answer on my own.
Yeah, yeah. But we will cover doing shit in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe, and then you will maybe understand.
Oh yeah, that's right. You called it doing shit, and I was like, maybe we shouldn't call it doing shit. We should call it being active. So that way it didn't have this
Yeah,
graphic show and it was like doing shit.
I did that at Boston as well. I titled one of the clips for the Weatherman thing. I wrote "do shit," and afterwards, Pijo was like, "Just so you know, people can read the text." But I didn't, I didn't care because it said "do shit." It's pretty mild. But it basically means don't stand around. Go do something. Don't just like. It's like when supports sit in the lane and just like try to deny. It's like go actually do something valuable,
Yeah,
impact
yeah.
the game. Don't just sit around and farm terrible items. Crystallis diffuse the blade on Kunkka. That is honestly the worst thing I've ever seen with the Lincoln.
Dude, why is it so bad?
Um, the crit kind of makes sense because the hero can cleave splash, but diffuse the
Yeah.
blade is an item that gives you 25 agility and 10 intelligence, I believe. And he mana burns for 50 a hit. So he probably bought it either to remove the silence from somebody or to slow you guys or to drain your mana. But he's only one hero. It just is so bad. It's very confusing how bad that is. And he also bought a bracer. I wish that was a wand. Wand's cheaper, gives more value by far. There's lots of stuff, like little things like that he must. But he played his hero really well. Like he comboed his spells super good. But he just bought horrendous items. So yeah,
Oh
just
man.
a lot of bad items on the enemy team. That really made the game easy. And then your bad end was like, I don't trust my team. I'm farming a Radiance, which I thought was funny. So it
Yeah.
really fit the personality of the game for him.
Oh, did you listen to that
Oh
guy?
yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he was a little upset.
Can
You
you
really
hear
screwed him
audio?
over though, huh?
Wait,
I was watching the stream. You can't hear it in game.
oh, okay, yeah, because I had it muted for most of the time.
Yeah,
By the way,
you
there.
definitely screwed him over big time though,
How?
because you didn't mango, which means you would have respawned. You guys would have turned that fight and probably gotten at least one kill. But instead
Oh
he
yeah,
TP'd to a
totally.
lane, and he was like, well, I could have been top doing something, and now I'm just bottom. So he wasted a ton of his time and his kill potential and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. He
Yeah,
was he was super angry about that. He's like, "Why didn't you mango?" I was like, "No, I just totally messed up. Yeah, it's bad."
yeah, yeah.
By the way, there's two of me.
Are interesting. Has it been like that the whole time?
It may be. I just saw me behind me
This is
for a
very
moment there.
this is awesome. I somehow have two settings of you. I think I just didn't delete the one from last week. Maybe. Do you want a third or?
Yeah, no, just bring me in, man. Let's just get a whole bunch of me in there. It sounds great.
Do. I'm just gonna have to chroma key it here and. Oh no, the illusion!
Hey,
The
look
illusion.
at the creamy green screen. Aw. Woo, woo. Yeah,
Why
traveling
don't more
in,
people do
baby.
this?
If you right click on the scene and
All
go to
right, go ahead,
preview
Sean.
editor.
Do some things.
Oh,
it's like you're
oh, that's awesome. There's
it's like
so
you're
many fingers.
an octopus. All
Ah,
right.
Octodad.
Okay. Well, I think that pretty much covers the games today. Yeah, there's a lot more itemization that you need to play just to kind of feel the difference. But
Yeah,
I think you might want to give the Radiance build another shot. I think I would save it for unranked with your friends versus playing solo ranked because I do feel like I lost you at least one game unnecessarily. But
wait, do you mean that as in like don't do it ranked or you might lose points, or don't do it in ranked or you will be a terrible person to
I
all the
think
people who play ranked?
the game impact is definitely worse. And if you're trying to just feel out builds, it's probably better if you do it in unranked if you care about your MMR. Is my point.
I genuinely really don't care about my
All
MMR,
right,
so
then
I'll
do
probably
whatever
just
the hell you
only play
want.
ranked. It sounds great.
Keep semi rushing your Radiances and just make it
Yeah.
work better, I guess, which is hard.
Yeah.
But definitely work on the laning. I think laning is still your biggest struggle by far. Definitely laning. But most of that's hero understanding and map rotations and coordinating with allies. Don't be afraid to leave your lane and go gank somewhere as well.
Oh
As long as
shit.
you do it
You're
coordinated.
totally breaking up. I'm losing you.
Oh, I'm dropping some frames.
Oh
Still dropping
no.
frames.
These frames are leaving us.
Okay. Oh, still dropping frames. What a great way to end the show.
GG.
All right, I think I stopped dropping frames.
All right, hold on.
Uh-oh. That's not good. All right, let's turn off all the Seans. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Hello.
Hey.
Everyone saw our chat logs, I'm pretty sure.
Sounds great. What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Boop.
Wow, look at that. Hey, you want to call? Hey, you ready to call? Hey, call me. Want to call?
All right.
Drop
Anyways,
triggers.
I think that's what it. I gotta get going. Gotta go to the airport in about 30 minutes. So
Thank you so much for taking the time to teach me how to
buy items.
to be a real boy.
Yeah. We're gonna have to cover this a lot. I think we'll talk about items all the time. I think episodes here going forward, in terms of your adjustments.
Yeah, I think that I want to play a whole bunch of Wraith King games while you're away because I'm starting to feel really good with Spirit Breaker. Like I feel incredibly comfortable with him.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could get there with the good old Wraith King.
I think you can. I think he has a decent win rate, pretty sure, in pubs at least.
Yeah, let me look
Just you
at
just
this
have
up.
to have good item build, and I think he's definitely strong. Stay a little bit ahead and have a good item build, and you should be able to wreck games. Yeah, I think that's it. All right,
Oh
thanks, Sean.
yeah, dude, Kevin, thank you. And Kevin,
Yeah.
can I do the call out?
No, I got this. I got a really good transition.
Okay, okay,
Now, I know you
sweet.
guys are going to be missing me teaching Sean how to play Dota better next week. So, if you want a way to fill that downtime, you can go to Gamer Sensei and use the promo code, which I closed, unfortunately. I used to have it open on the notepad, but click down below. I have a little hyperlink to Gamer Sensei, and you guys can sign up for $10 off for coaching from high level Dota players and other games too, if you're into that. But let's be real, keep it into the Dota, right?
Yeah. Also, StarCraft. I recommend StarCraft. That's also an awesome game. I'll just
Nope,
throw that out
no
there.
comment. I like StarCraft, but no comment. People
All
still play
right.
StarCraft
Yeah, dude.
sometimes.
Dude, you got to play co-op. Dude, the co-op commander
I haven't
missions are
even,
so
dude. I
fun.
didn't even buy the third expansion. I bought the second one. I played the campaign a lot. I really liked it, but
Dude,
never
yeah.
got the third one.
You can just do co-op. I think actually co-op's free. You just like
Oh, really?
download it,
All
just
right.
start playing. It's
Plus one
fantastic.
playing StarCraft incoming.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. All right.
But
Thanks for
yeah.
watching, guys.
And of course, I just want to tell you again that I will be streaming next Wednesday, anyways, just playing all the things, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, go tune in, guys, and maybe I'll show up briefly and yell at Sean or something. No promises. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye.